Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. I'm Roy.
And I'm Jessica.
And today we're going to be talking about another question from a viewer. And I think they asked, what does the evolution of your business growth look like? And we are going to do our best to answer that today.
Yes, we are.
So, I think what they are inquiring about, and I may be wrong, is what does our finances look like now comparatively to where we were? And what does our business volume look like comparatively to where we were? And I think that's I think a lot of those are one and the same. Mm-hmm. And I'm just guessing at that. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I guess my interpretation's a little bit different. I was kind of thinking they were asking more along the lines of, like, where did we start in, like, perhaps selling, and then, like, how did we move through the different platforms to reach where we are now? But perhaps they all kind of mesh, what you said and I said.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about all three. We'll throw all three out there, and hopefully this will answer the question. So we will start with what platform we started with in our business and how we progress from there to where we're at now and managing our several sites that we have now. So yeah. Go ahead. You can go with the first one.
The very first place you started, really, before you even started selling, you were just making items as gifts, like Christmas gifts and that kind of thing. And that's where you kind of got your first practice at making items, reproducible or otherwise. And then from there, we moved on to craft shows. I started getting interested in some craft shows. And
doing baked goods and little things. I had very small work on the thing. I had to do it whenever I got off work and on the weekends. And a lot of the craft shows was on the weekends, so it was hard for me to get stock. But I had a few items out there, that I'd make and sell. So yeah,
definitely.
Then it progressed from there. To I went and took a class at Touchstone Center for Crafts, and I realized, like, blacksmithing isn't just about making rustic stuff. It can also be art. It can be artwork. And I got to thinking to myself, artwork. Yeah, I kind of fancy myself as an artist. I could see charging $1 million for something I do. Yeah, that sounds like the right ideal. Oh boy, was I wrong. But anyways, so then we went to a lot of local art galleries in the Dayton, Ohio area. And kind of started doing some art stuff and art shows. Yeah,
some juried art shows too, like where they award prizes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
at all this point, up until this point, we never really made any money at it. It was kind of a fun thing. We traded a lot of my ironwork off to other people. Yep. I think when we went to Dayton Visual Arts, that was our first, like, for real gallery that we ever made any sort of money out of. I think the year total, I think we made like $300, $300 or $400 at the gallery. I think it was $300 or $400 after the gallery's commission of 30% and stuff. And and then we went and did, in the summer, we did a bunch of street festivals and live demos.
DVAC, the Dayton Visual Arts Center, that's how we got introduced into doing the street shows. If I remember correctly,
like First Friday,
they
stuff.
Connected you with there.
Yeah. And then I built kind of some of my own connections with other art galleries and things, and I tried to put my work in various places and art galleries and stuff. None of my work was at that point I would say, such a super high quality out there. I mean, there was definitely guys who were doing a lot better work than I was, but I was also forging in a little 6x10 shed that I built myself and getting rained on every time it poured and things like that. That's where we started to enter the realm of eBay. After that point there, I had been just doing kind of year over year, just art shows and art galleries. So the art galleries come Christmas time, things like that, and craft shows, and then just art shows and traveling around and doing stuff in the summer months. And that was kind of our first thing before we started anything online.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And finally, we had heard enough from different artists and people at craft shows and things like that. They're like, you need to check out Etsy. Your stuff would be perfect on Etsy.
Yeah, we were told at least 50 times this, probably, at least, and we didn't listen the whole time. We were like, I don't know anything about that. So
yeah, and and so we finally decided to just give it a try. We had been selling on eBay, and that was going okay. I mean, we saw there was a few blacksmiths that were making some money on there, like Craig Barr. I think he's one of them. He's built himself up a reputation of being able to make
for knives and hawks and things.
Yeah, so he was able to make higher amounts of money on eBay, but we weren't really able to drive the higher prices on eBay for our work. So so we went ahead. We started our first Etsy shop. And added a couple of smaller items, but I believe it was less than 2 months when we started having our first sales.
I like to tell everybody we got 100% growth in the first year. Oh, which, I mean, obviously anything from 0 is going to be 100% growth. So keep that one in mind. You can tell people that. It makes you sound successful. But yeah, so we started selling things on Etsy. We kind of started our Etsy store like we had been doing our eBay the whole time, and eBay's just totally different format how you doing it.
eBay,
and
think
finally,
garage sale when you think eBay. That's
pretty
kind
much
of the level
you're going
we're
there
at.
for cheap work. That's what you're doing. Cheap anything. That's what you go to eBay for. That's what you're trying to get on eBay. That's why you bid on stuff, things like that. So we never really made a lot of money on eBay, and we kind of just transferred some of that mentality over to Etsy. We started building Etsy up. From the ground up, and slowly but surely, after a few more classes that I took and different artists and artisans that I had the ability to be in touch with, I kind of started realizing like I need to start charging. What I do is actually special, and I need to start charging what I'm worth, and then I could just continue, building from there to where we're at now. We are still on Etsy.
Yeah, we are. But we branched out since.
But we have now branched out since then. So where we're at currently, that brings us up to current date. Hopefully that's enough of a history lesson. Where we're at currently now is we sell on Etsy. We sell on Amazon. We sell on our own website. Okay. I do have some local sales that I get from time to time that I still do. We don't do art shows anymore. We don't do galleries, and we don't do festivals anymore. We don't do any live demos or anything like that anymore, except on a rare occasion.
It's just too much for us to haul everything around. We've got 3 kids, and we've got plenty of orders to keep us busy here at home.
Yeah, and we've got a flood of orders that come in online now from all those 3 different avenues. We tried a place that was a foreign place. It was DeWanda.
Yeah, we tried DeWanda. I didn't go real far with DeWanda. I put a couple of listings up, and then I kind of let it slide because there's 5 different languages you can translate your listings into, and so that started becoming a lot of work real quick. 5 times the amount of work per listing than what I was used to.
Yeah, so, and we already were spread pretty thin as it is now. The other place we tried was Scott's Marketplace.
Yeah, I tried that. I still don't think I've had any views at all.
Yeah, and
no views.
We're not really interested in building our business on that platform either. And then we did do one place for a while, and their name was Custom Made. We did make, I think, about 10 grand on Custom Made in the very short time that we were on there. We weren't on there a year. I think we were on there 4 or 5 months.
Just shy of a year, I believe.
Just shy of a year, was it? Okay. Well, anyways, analytical. Anyways. They're just shy of a year, and then we started having problems with the service they were using for their credit card processing. It got to where the customer could just take their money right back from you, and then there was no link for you to get your money back.
Yeah, there was no resolution process.
Yeah, no resolution process.
Which you find with other places, though.
If there's somebody from Custom Made or somebody hashtag Custom Made in this, we're still unhappy at you. Yeah, and we're still unhappy you took our money. So
now, although there was things we did like about Custom Made, like customers would come in and post jobs that they wanted to have companies bid on, and that was a really neat format. But like we said, our problem was with the payment processing that they choose to do it through. Yep. So
there was no due process, and if there was a problem with the job or a certain timeline didn't get met or something like that, the credit card payments could just go in reverse, and then you're out the item, you're out the time, you're out everything. And we actually had that hit us pretty hard. It turned out to be a good thing. It really highlighted some areas that we needed to tighten up our ship on our own personal finances. But we had just came back from a vacation and we came back to a zero account. In fact, it was overdrafted on a big job that was supposed to be in there, and it totally got misinterpreted and the whole thing. And it really blew up. I blew a gasket, went ballistic. And it was just a whole bad time. So anyways, sorry, don't mean to rag on that. Sorry, remembering it, bad feelings here, bad mojo. Point is, we've tried a lot of different other avenues. The reason why we recommend Etsy so much is we have had our most success with Etsy.
That's right.
They have really, really, really great customer support staff. They have amazing processes in line. Like if somebody's unhappy with their item, they have to go through a process to get with you and work out a resolution. Like you just can't bicker and quarrel and money's there one minute and the next minute your account's been overdraft. There's none of that. They've been around a really long time.
They have
online.
Another really great thing. They do a lot of advertising on behalf of the people who have listings with them.
A lot.
And so you can Google search something, and your listings will be promoted there by Etsy.
Yep.
Depending on the keywords you use, like blacksmith or hand forged.
How popular
like
you are on the site. And things
that's
of
part
that
of it
nature
too.
and stuff. Search algorithm things, but anyways, so more of the point. That's where we're at now. That's where we're at currently.
Yeah. And like you see, we've had a very diverse, company so far in the different avenues where we've, tried to make money and tried to sell and things like that. And we encourage you to do the same. I mean, try different avenues. It may cost you some time, but it might work out for you.
So now we'll move on to question number 2 and 3, and we'll try to get through this, and I'm going to spew this out really quick for you and spell it out really quick for you. 1, we don't give any of our personal finances away to any of you because you wouldn't give that to us. So we don't know what your annual salary is. You're not going to find out what our annual salary is at no point ever. And if I say it, I'll probably inflate it or deflate it depending on what it needs to be. Because I'm an interesting person that apparently lies a lot. I'm a storyteller. She corrects me a lot. Yeah, I embellish.
That's a nice word.
Embellish. Yeah, such a nice word. We'll go over the finances. So I will tell you broad numbers, and some of them are fairly accurate, some of them aren't. I know our very first real paycheck that we did when we were doing it 100% hardcore was about $600 for a month, and that was an entire month worth of work, $600. And I don't know a living soul that would work for $600 other than maybe if you lived in a third world country or this or that would be a lot of money to you. But here in the Dayton, Ohio region, that's not a lot of money. That's not enough to keep the doors open or keep the lights on or keep food in your kids' bellies. That was kind of our first paycheck, real paycheck when we were saying, okay, we're just dedicating 100% of our time at this. And then a few months later, it caught up into $800 to $1,000 range, and we started picking up speed. And then, come around Christmas time, it had a bump, and it went up into like $2,000 a month kind of thing. And then it dropped after the first year, and we realized that stuff is seasonal.
Yep, you definitely get seasonal pay.
Yep, you do get some seasonal pay with this. Just depends on how hot your items are. A lot of our items are catered towards birthdays, weddings, Christmas, gift kind of items. So we do have fluctuations with that. And then, so last year, it built like that, and it was over, it went for several grand, and we started making a couple grand a month, and we kind of just stopped at that for a while. And then we moved all the way up to where, our total yearly income where we're at now is, anyways, had to take and cut that clip out there for a second. So there's no way, I didn't know where my hands were before, so I couldn't edit this one out. We got interrupted. Probably a good thing where we're at. I was just getting ready to tell you the juicy tidbits, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Where money we're making now.
Maybe
Okay, here comes the embellishment. Here comes the embellishment. And you guess which way it is, whether it's low or high. we are up now. We are blessed enough that last year, I think our annual income. So up until then, we made between $12,000 a year, all the way up when we started making $20,000 a year, and then up to $40,000 a year. And then like this past year, the year prior to us, 2016, was it?
That was last year.
Yeah, that was last year. We're 2017 now. Last year we made right around $75,000, and that was a big year. I spent hundreds of hours in the forge. I created over 700 different copper pieces that year, and I did a lot of other iron work that year. I had a guy I was employing, and then I didn't have a guy I was employing, and then I had another guy I was employing, and then I didn't have another guy I was employing, and then, and I bought a truck that was a nightmare, and it ended up ruining me for about 14 grand.
So basically what you're saying is there's a lot of expenses that come out of that amount. He's just
exactly. That's a total overall, and so we know what we finally made out at the end. We don't, like I said, we're not going to share that information with you. It's just life. Life happened with that. But what I want you to take from that, life happened when we only made $800 a month at it, and life still happens. It wouldn't matter if we made $30,000 a month at it. Life still happens. One of the biggest misconceptions people can make is that your problems go away the more money you have. That is an absolute farce. Your problems only match your income. That's it. They match them. Your taxes continue to rise. Doesn't matter if you're a rich man or a poor man. They tax you the same. Some will disagree with that. We just started a firestorm. Let me know what you think in the comments section on that one. That one's just going to be hilarious on this comment thread.
You look pretty jazzed.
I'm excited about it. I know I'm probably going to be deleting some people. That's probably going to happen. Anyways, point is, those problems, people have a lot of misconception. Well, if only I could make $80,000 a year. Oh, I'd be so upset if I made $100,000 a year. Or, you know what? That guy over there, now he makes like $4 million a year. He's got life, golden. Nah, he don't. He has to pay the piper for that $4 million. If he's not paying the taxes, he has something that he has to pay. He has bills that meet up to that $4 million a year. That's not $4 million a year where you went from drinking a case of beer a month, to now all of a sudden you've got $4 million dropped on you. That's not the way that works. If he worked for it, which most rich people and successful people do, there's a beast crying at the door for that money. And it's a high level to obtain. So that's something to be looking at when you're growing your company, when you're growing your business, when you're evolving your business, and what's that growth look like. Be careful what you wish for. As I've said in other videos, my shop went from maybe spending $80 a month. If I was lucky, I'd spend $80 a month on supplies and just upkeep of the shop and anything, mainly silicone to go on the roof and roofing tar because it kept leaking. There was something that I had to spend to take and get where I'm at today, and that was $80. That was $80 a month. And my income reflected $800 of that. And then you know what came after that? When I started making made 2-3 times that, 2-3 times the bills and the expenses came right along with them. Mm-hmm. So now where we work at and where we are performing at, the level that we are at right now, it's a very hard thing to obtain. We work, and no lie, this isn't an exaggeration, between 60 and 90 hours a week. No lie. Between the YouTube and between all of our regular customers, we answer between 40 and 60 emails a day. 40 and 60 emails a day, and that's not including chat. That's not including the chitter chat that's on YouTube. Plus shooting and producing videos. And people say, wow, well, that's a whopping lot of work. Aren't you going to get tired of that someday? I'll sleep when I'm dead. Until then, Roy's going to be a very successful person, or I'm going to try to be. But not everyone's cut out for that life. Maybe, hey, you just want to take and evolve your business to, just have maybe a little extra fun money on the weekends to do. Or maybe you want to just be able to pay for, a nicer forge. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's your goal.
Mm-hmm.
No. Maybe you've got debt. Maybe you've got a house that you just kind of want to pay off. And just doing something on the side is right for you, and it would help you out. Not everybody's us, and your growth does not have to look like our growth.
Yep.
Your personal growth and development could be so much more, and it could be so much less, and that's okay.
That's right.
So,
good luck on your individual path.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you guys, though. I mean, where are you at? Tell us about it in the comments. Yeah. Where have you come so far in your blacksmithing business, or what's your goals and dreams?
Yeah, we would love to hear those. Put those in the comment section down below. It was a long-winded video. I talk a lot, like I usually do. This is my beautiful wife. She smiles a lot, like she normally does. Thank you all for watching this video. God bless you all, and be successful out there in everything you do. We'll talk to you later.